Hi everyone, welcome back to the Modern React 19 series. In the previous chapter, we moved from theory into practice. We created our React application using White and Transcript, explored the project structure, and actually ran our application in the browser. Now we are going to take a closer look at something you have already been using without necessarily understanding what's happening behind the scenes, and that is JSX. You may have noticed that inside our TypeScript file, we are writing something that looks like HTML. So naturally, the question is that HTML? The answer is no. JSX is one of the most important concepts to understand if you want to become compatible with React. So, in this chapter, we are going to understand not only how to write JSX, but more important, why JSX exists, how it works, and how it connects our JavaScript or TypeScript code to the user interface. So, let's move to slide 2. Let's start with the simplest possible definition. JSX is a syntax extension that allows us to describe our user interface using a syntax that looks very similar to HTML directly inside JavaScript or TypeScript. Now I want you to remember one important distinction from the very beginning. JSX looked like HTML, but JSX is not HTML. It is a syntax that gives us a much cleaner and more readable way to describe what our React components should render. And because our project uses TypeScript, we are going to encounter JSX inside .tsx files. So when we see a file like app.tsx, so think TypeScript plus JSX. That simple mental model will help us to understand the project structure much more easily. So why we need JSX? Now you might be wondering, if JSX isn't HTML and the browser doesn't directly understand JSX, why do we use it at all? That's a very good question. And to understand that, let's briefly imagine React without JSX. React can describe UI using JavaScript function calls, and technically there is nothing stopping us from doing that. But as the interface becomes much more complex, the code becomes much harder for a human being to read. Compare a long sequence of function calls with something that visually resembles the interface we are trying to build. JSX gives us something very valuable, readability. When I look at Hello React, for example, in the screen, so I immediately understand the structure of the UI. So JSX isn't just about making React code shorter, it's about making our UI code easier for developers to understand, maintain, and reason about. So let's move to the next slide. So JSX looks like HTML, but it lives inside JavaScript or TypeScript. And this is actually where JSX becomes really powerful. Because we are inside JavaScript, we can combine our UI description with JavaScript expressions. We can use variables, we can calculate values, we can make decisions, we can iterate over data, and we can call function. So instead of thinking about JSX as HTML inside JavaScript, I want you to think about it this way. JSX is a convenient way of describing UI using the power of JavaScript. So once we start thinking about JSX that way, many React patterns becomes much more easier to understand. So okay, enough theory. So let's actually write some JSX. I'm going to open our app.tsx file. So let's start with something extremely simple. So I already have this code. So take a look at this function. App is our React component. It's simply a TypeScript function. And what does the function return? It returns JSX. In this case, an HTML element containing the text Hello React. So here's our first important React pattern. A component is a reusable for describing a pieces of UI, and JSX is the syntax be used to describe that UI. Then then let me show you in the browser. So simple. This time this tiny example contains the foundation of a huge amount of React development. So now let's look at our first JSX rule. Suppose I want to return two elements, an H1 and a paragraph. So it might be tempting to write them side by side, but JSX requires a single root element for the return structure. So let me show you the code. I will just copy and paste in my TSX file. So what do we do here? So we give these elements a common parent. Now the structure is totally valid. But there's an interesting question here. What if I don't actually want this? Uh, so let me show you something here. I can use a div here as well if I want something like it. It will also work. But if I don't actually want this extra div, then this first case is valid. So this allows us to group multiple elements without introducing another DOM element. So in future we will be using this pattern very frequently, and then we can have a more practice and understanding about it. So now let's talk about JSX attributes. So if you have already worked with HTML before, this part will become initially look very familiar. We can add attributes to JSX elements just as we add attributes to HTML elements. But there is an important difference. Remember, we are not actually writing HTML here. We are writing JSX inside JavaScript or TypeScript. So many attribute names follow JavaScript naming conventions. Then, for example, you will see this class name is equal to card in this example in the right side. So you will see HTML4 instead of for, and many other properties use camel case. So at first glance, this looks very familiar. However, there is important difference, and there is a very uh, difference regarding the conventions. Now let's move to another slide. So let's take one example that we all use almost every day. In traditional HTML, we write class. In JSX, we write class name. So we don't need to overthink this. The important thing is remember is that JSX uses JavaScript compatible property naming. So if we are just writing React and you type class, editor will immediately tell us that something isn't right. And this is actually a good example of why understanding the difference between HTML and JS patterns. So let's try out it. So what we need to do here, so whenever we are using class or class name, we have to define it first. Only then it is going to work. So we will practice it later, because in this chapter I just want to explain you the basics of JSX. Now we are getting to one of the most favorite parts of JSX, which is my favorite as well. We can actually bring JavaScript directly into our UI. And what do that using curly braces? Think of these curly braces as a small doorway. We will be writing JSX, then we put curly braces, and inside those braces we can write a JavaScript expression. For example, this host name is equal to React developer. Then React evaluates the expression and places the resulting value into the UI. And this is where React start becoming really powerful. Our UI doesn't have to be static anymore. It can be driven by data. So what can go inside these curly braces? The answer is JavaScript expressions. We can use variables, we can perform calculations, we can call function, and we can use expressions such as the ternary operator. For example, if I have a variable called count, I can display count plus 1. If I have a variable called is logged in, I can decide what text to display based on its value. This gives us a very clean relationship between our application logic and our UI. So let's move to next slide. Expression versus statements. This distinction is worth understanding because we will encounter it constantly in React. An expression produces a value, a statement performs an action or control the flow of a program. For example, count plus 1 is an expression, a ternary condition is an expression, but an if statement is a statement, and JSX expects an expression when we are inside curly braces. So this won't work. If something is true, you can practice it. So we can use a ternary expression or move the logic outside the JSX as well. So once we understand this distinction, JSX errors that initially looks confusing become much more easier to understand. So conditional rendering with JSX. So let's put the knowledge into practice. Imagine we are building a real application. We have a user. That user may or may not be logged in. Obviously, the interface needs to respond to that state. If the user is logged in, we might display welcome back. Otherwise, we might display please log in. So let's do it practically. I will just copy paste instead of it's not allowing me to. Yeah, I'm able to copy it. So I have to put it before return, and this is nothing. This is just a ternary operator. So if you have already worked with other programming languages, you must be able to understand it. I'm just going to save it. So currently you see is logged in true. So what should it return? Welcome back. You will see in the screen. And if I make it false, now it should say please log in. So obviously the interface need to respond to that state, and so you know noticed what's happening here. We didn't manually change the HTML, we changed the data. So React evaluates the expression and renders the appropriate UI, and so that's a declarative UI in action. We describe what the UI should look like for a particular state, and React take care of updating the interface. So now let's move to another slide, rendering list with JSX. So now let's look at another pattern I will be using uh, to explain, and we are using this constantly in real world React application. So imagine our application receives a list of technologies from an API. We don't know in advance whether that list contains 3 items, 10 items, or 100 items. We don't want to manually write an ally for every item. Instead, we can use JavaScript map functions. So let's copy it because I don't want to spend time on writing everything. So you must be able to understand it. This is just as array. There is some mistake. So what I did here, I used a map, and it should display all the values from the array in the UI. So we will explore about keys as well. In So React uses a key to identify each item in the list. So which I'm not going to discuss right now. Will explain you later in the series. So now let's connect everything back to our project. We are not building a plain JavaScript React application. We are building a React application using TypeScript, and that's why our file use the .tsx extension. So think of the extension as a simple reminder. TXX means TypeScript. TSX means TypeScript plus JSX. So when we create a React component containing JSX, we normally put that component inside a .tsx file, as you already saw here, app.tsx. So this is the approach we will follow throughout the entire series. So from this point onward, when you see .tsx, you will know exactly why it's there. So JSX under the hood. So let's step back for a moment and answer a very common question. Does the browser understand JSX? No, the browser ultimately needs JavaScript. So our development tooling transforms JSX into JavaScript before it reaches the browser. In our application, White and the React tooling are responsible for this development workflow. So the mental model I want you to remember is we write JSX. Our tooling transforms it. React works with the resulting JavaScript representation and the UI is rendered in the browser. Then we don't need to memorize the exact transformation today. So important thing is understanding the responsibility of each layer. That's a very good uh, to understand all these things before we become a good React developer. So this is a last slide in the chapter. So let's take a moment and summarize it, which we understood in this chapter. JSX allows us to describe our user interface using a syntax that looks similar to HTML, but JSX is not HTML. JSX lives inside JavaScript or TypeScript. We use curly braces when we want to bring JavaScript expression into our UI. We learned that JSX expects expression rather than statements. We saw uh, how this enables conditional rendering. Line number 20. We saw how JavaScript map function allows us to write dynamic list. We also learned why our React components use .tsx files when we are working with TypeScript. And finally, we looked at what happens to JSX before the browser actually runs our application. So there is a bigger idea behind everything we have learned today. React is not about manually manipulating the UI. We describe the UI we want based on our data and state, and React takes responsibility for updating the interface. JSX is the syntax that makes that way of thinking natural and expressive. And now that we understand JSX, we are ready to build something much more interesting. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about real building blocks of React application, comments, and props, and we will learn how to take a large interface, break it into smaller reusable pieces, and pass data between those pieces. So that's where React development really starts to become powerful. So see you in chapter 2. Thank you.